Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's stream. So, oh goodness, that was my dog. Just a heads up to everybody, I am kind of under the weather a little bit. So tonight's stream may be kind of short. And of course I start streaming and my dog's got to make a bunch of noise. That's fun. So, how is everybody doing tonight? As you guys can see, I've been kind of busy. Just been kind of knocked down with a sinus infection, so bouncing back though, trying to bounce back. But you guys can see I've been working on the two Emperial Star Destroyers. The Imperial version is coming along very nicely. I've actually got it assembled. I got to start doing the seam filling, and this one has actually gone into primer, so the seams are still more visible than what I'd like, but I think more of that is actually how the primer set on there. They're not actually grooves, so I think it's more just a primer coloring issue because it didn't take the color of the primer the way it would have. Dirk, good to hear you're living the dream. I'm trying. Try to muscle through this sinus infection. I've already got antibiotics and stuff, so I'll be hopefully right as rain by later this week. So, but you guys can see the two models have definitely come together pretty well. I'm gonna hopefully, if I'm feeling better tomorrow, put the face mask on and start taking this guy into actual paint with a nice light gray. I'll probably use the Vallejo Sky Gray on the outer edges. I'm going to try to use the black to my advantage in these darker areas. I know there's usually more of a blue, and then I want to make sure I get the steel look of this ring, and then the red here will look really nice. And then of course the look of the engines and everything. I'll take this all into the tan. I'll kind of let some of the gray go into here, but definitely want to get the reds of the engine cones and kind of that red glare that the engines will give onto the side of the ship. And you guys can see the belly of it came together really well with the primer as well. You can tell it's definitely picked up a bunch of my fingerprints, but this one's coming along really nicely. A lot of the gray, I'll just use this guy since I'm just using a base coat. This is a Kibbe all-in-one airbrush, portable airbrush. So I like the compressor, everything's handheld. It's good for doing like base layering and stuff like that, but I haven't really gotten into using it for detailing. And it's not even that horrible of a sound. So it works really well for those base layers. I'll probably use one of my other airbrushes and then come in with the actual hand brush to really get the separation of the detail between the raised command centers and stuff in here. So this one is just waiting to go downstairs and meet my airbrush. This one's ready for where we first started our stream on the other one. But I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm going to just kind of talk about some of the Christmas goodies that came. And kind of just chit-chat a little bit probably. Like I said, I'm probably only going to keep the stream probably to a half an hour or so. Just because I'm just not feeling that great. So, but I am really happy with the way this came out. And I've actually been reworking this model to actually make this piece and this piece one solid piece. These two pieces one piece, then these two pieces one piece. I'm trying to make it to where I can get rid of the seam lines so I don't have to spend so much work on it, but still keep the scale of this one, still keep that 3-foot scale. Can I even get this? I'm gonna almost get it all in the picture, but it's still very much a work in progress. So, but it's coming along nicely. I've got some stuff where I accidentally took the snippers clean through the model, but nothing terrible. So But these two are coming along quite nicely. Oh, favorite print that I've done? Ooh. That's a tough one, because I've done a ton of prints by now. Battlestar Pegasus is one of my favorite, simplest, easy, ready-to-go prints. I love doing the Cura class from Star Trek First Contact, Deep Space Nine. That one was really a fun one. I do not have one of those anywhere near at hand. Then, of course, you've got other big multi-prints like this one. Because I like the new one. I like the old Battlestar Galactica. And this one has been around on the shelf for a while. I haven't even dealt with the seam lines on it. And that kind of segues me into one of the tools I was very happy to get for Christmas. Was this. So this is a 3D doodler and Create Plus pin. So my other pin died. The ceramic nozzle snapped. And I tried getting a couple replacements. They didn't work. They didn't fit the pin. So I upgraded to a new one. And there's several reasons why I chose this one. One, it had great reviews. It's built very easy to hold. The one thing I don't like is it doesn't have a digital display of the heat, the temperatures. It just has 2 presets for PLA or ABS and flexible. But it has a fast and low speeds. The key thing I wanted about this one was the nozzle. It is the same nozzle my printers use. It's a 0.4 brass nozzle. So that is one of the main reasons why I went for this pin. It is quick and easy to change out. It's actually just take a wrench and unscrew it while it's hot, and I can replace my nozzles with this. And it came with some really cool filament sticks that you can use, including clear, in both PLA and ABS filament. So it's kind of a neat one. It's a little bit more on the expensive side for a 3D printing pen, but I think it has a lot of advantages with the nozzle and different things like that. It even comes with a really cool how-to doodling guide and different things like that to get started with this. So it's definitely one of those things that it's a heck of a deal. Oh, Dirk, I hate when that happens. Like your little quad fighter. That thing has been a nightmare. I think I get one part fixed and another part just kind of says, nope, I don't want to print. So I'm still toying with that one, by the way. I haven't given up, and I think was it you that sent me an email yesterday about printers doing weird things? Oh, you were getting the weird gapping. That's right. Was it on this model that you were getting the gaps? Just out of curiosity, because you can see, even I got some weird gaps between the pieces. And I still have a lot of support to clean off. And unfortunately, I printed this years ago. It's just kind of been set on a shelf and walked away from. I have a feeling our gaps are part of the model, unfortunately. But that's where this guy can be handy with actually just using the same filament to fill in the grooves, which was my plan for this week. But seeing that I had the same gaps, I don't think it's our printers, buddy. I have a feeling it's the print themselves. It's kind of convenient that I actually... So, I built this. It fell off a shelf. And it broke. And I actually just reassembled it today. Because I've been feeling like tar. So I just... kind of working on little bitty things. Like holding a model. Because I'm sitting there not being able to look at it. Hey, Reviews with Douglas. How's it going? Ooh, you're printing the Ferengi ship? Ooh, dear. Now, one of the things with printing ships, like Star Trek, if you guys have seen my videos, I try to do them in one piece. I don't like breaking them up and having that seam line in there. Now, granted, like this one, it's 4 separate pieces. Kind of hard to figure out where my seam lines were because I took my time, I sanded, and it was a large scale print. But there's nothing like this where there is no seam lines. Only places I have to sand where there were supports. Which, like this back of this warp nacelles, I still have to sand those down. And the back of the warp struts here where the support was, because I printed it like this. But always kind of one of those things. I always like the final episode where we see that beefed up Enterprise Dreadnought, and the Enterprise C was just cool too. So that, and I've been having a lot of people tell me they're getting stringing from their prints and different things like that. So one of the things to watch out as we get cold, because I'm in the Midwest, and we went from 70 degrees on Friday to a whole whopping like 10. And I had some stringing on some prints myself. The retraction, and you got to watch your heat. Especially as we have these weather swings. Like my retraction is 6.5. Works really well for the inland PLA and stuff like that I use to keep that stringing off my prints. So yeah, the print's out on Thingiverse, and actually stay tuned. Kind of had a little oops today. You guys got an extra video that was supposed to go out on Friday, so I don't have Friday content right now. So I am either going to, because, well, basically, I've got the Dreadnought, and I've got the regular version of the ship. So I may do a video with just both of them. Or I may just make the Star Destroyer video finally. I haven't even decided. I may do this on Friday and just come online and stream, but it's kind of one of those things. A little bit of an oops today. But definitely one of those things too. There is a ton of support that still has to be peeled off this guy. If I can even tell the difference between support and model at this point. It's been so long since I looked at this one. But hopefully Christmas was good to you guys in the new year. Whoops. You guys can see that we've had I was thinking about doing a tracer figurine. Those are the only two that I really know from Overwatch. I've played it for a while, and those were the two characters that I really worked with. But I probably will. Actually, there's another Mercy figurine down on the printer right now. Well, it's not on the printer. It's on the curing station. So it's kind of one of those things where we're getting hoping to actually do some more painting on here at night. But and just kind of one of those things. I've got this guy finally into I finally took the Imperial Rader into primer as well, so I'm ready to actually start painting this. I'll do a base coat of gray with the airbrush, then I'll come back and do detailing. So So I'm really kind of anxious to get started on that. And then I got this toy to put together because Voyager's fun. This is the new model kit. I have the older one that's a bit larger scale. I'm looking forward to actually putting this one together, and might save that for the streams here and just kind of be one of those work-on projects. But where I airbrush, I have one of the airbrushing stations downstairs that has the vent, and I have it hooked up to blow the exhaust outside, so I don't airbrush up here at this desk. This is where I do all the hand detailing. I guess I can try to record the airbrushing. That might be... I have to figure out a camera for that one so you guys can at least watch the airbrushing as I finish these. Because that's kind of the goal with the Super Star Destroyer. I want to actually finish it before I put the video out. Yeah, I've printed it, but I didn't take it to a model yet. And that's kind of one of the goals here. Is I want to start showing a little bit more actual finished product than here's the model, here's it's printed, go have a good time, which is what I have been doing. So definitely a lot of growing goals this year. Yeah, Reno, 65 to 25. Yeah, that's that doesn't sound right for your region, actually. I know Missouri, we have the rule of give it 5 minutes and it'll change, which I think Saturday we're supposed to drop down to like 11 degrees. So I'm actually not overly thrilled by that, but that is actually supposed to be there. But it's cold weather. I just don't like being cold. That's why my wife and I keep talking about, let's move to Florida. But even where we were looking at Florida, it's cold today. So us moving is not on the roadmap anytime soon. Then one of those things, getting back from vacation, just kind of starting all the printers back up. That's been kind of a chore this week. I started a large scale model of a Mark II Viper of the reboot with its stand. I started printing that today. What else did I start? Another concept of the Enterprise C, the concept version that was never actually aired. Oh geez, more R2-D2 work is going on. The second part of R2-D2's dome is now out on the printer, so we'll be seeing some of that coming to the stream, especially once I have the initial dome parts put together, and we'll do the assembly here on stream and kind of make a fun run of it, because basically what I want to try to get with R2-D2, I want to get him into an assembly phase where I've got part of him assembled and I'm painting, and I've got another part that's in assembly, and then I still got a part that's in printing. So this is going to be a lot of parts when it goes. So we're getting started there. We're starting the year out right. I've been looking around for the armor for this year. For this year's Halloween costume, I found some pretty good models out there. Hopefully in tandem with my goal to drop 20 or 30 pounds. Hopefully we'll make that fit really well. What else going on? So like I said, just due to kind of how I'm feeling in my health, I'm not going to run the stream very long tonight. That's why I'm kind of thinking about Friday. Give you guys a good long stream for Friday night. Hopefully I'm back to my usual more perky self come Friday night. So, but it's nothing to worry about. It's not COVID. It's just a sinus infection, unfortunately. But kind of one of those things. I'm kind of stuck in a middle ground right now with my models, because I stopped printing for 2 weeks. I do have some Star Wars clone troopers that I printed with the resin printer that I'm hoping will I'm hoping to bring. They're in the wash phase right now. Once they're done, I plan to bring them up and we'll do some painting on them. They're miniatures. So similar scale size as Star Wars Legion figures, but these are just some Phase 1 clone troopers I'm just kind of playing with. Because I was trying to figure... Basically, I'm trying to get into the groove and zero in my settings for that Vox Lab resin printer, the Proxima that I got. And then today, you guys, if you haven't checked it out, go check out the channel. I released a video on the Creality Halet. It's a very nice high-definition printer. I've got some more work to do on zeroing it in, but I'm getting closer to having it zeroed in. So hopefully we'll start seeing more resin up on this table, because I did some work with these B-wings, but I broke them. I broke the guns off them. But kind of one of those things, and I'm looking for, if anybody sees one out there, a really, really detailed model of a Star Destroyer, because I want to recreate the Chimera. So I want to go after Thrawn's Star Destroyer. That's kind of on the to-do list for me. Is I want to 3D print one. I've done these Super Star Destroyers. Now I'm going to kind of kick down a little bit. Then if you watched a few weeks ago too, the Norway class is coming along in paint, so hopefully I'll get to show that off to you guys here before too long as well. So does anybody have any 3D printing questions or problems or anything going on? I know we kind of had a lively conversation with some of the problems last Saturday. A few folks that were having some problems. So, Dirk, I'm still trying to figure out that quad fighter. That thing has, that one's kind of made me question life a little bit. Because I'll got one part right, because I've got the engines and the wings right now, but then it just throws off the central part of the ship. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with that one. It's been a bear. The only thing that I haven't tried is actually printing it in resin, but I haven't really wanted to go down that road yet. So, but hopefully everybody had a good holiday. Because yeah, I did a lot of traveling. I got to see my kid, and had a good week and a half off work. So it's always a good thing. So when you get to take some time off. But we got a lot of stuff in the works to print. As far as these gaps, I'm almost wondering how tall are these parts? Because sometimes what I've noticed when they're printing, because you still have heat underneath that base layer, and if it gets up high enough, I've seen it to where actually the printer will make the piece rock and actually round the bottom. Even with a raft, I've seen it do that. I'm assuming, Dirk, with your printer, there's no bows in your bed or anything like that that could be causing a curvature. Your beds are pretty straight. Because after a while, even glass will tend to start to warp. The only other suggestion I can offer is maybe increasing your bed temperature to get rid of that gappage. And to be honest with you, sometimes when I have that happen, if it's like two pieces of these pods, a lot of time that's when I grab the big file and I start going to town. If I get really frustrated, I might quickly press it against the belt sander for a second or two. But I don't like doing that because that can get bad real quick. But as you can see, even that gap right there, I can easily put this tool down in the gap. So even I have to deal with the gappage sometimes. This one, I would say it's a good, at some points it's probably maybe almost 1/8 of an inch gap. So, I don't know what would have caused the curve then. unfortunately, my Photon Mono X sits a lot too. That's something that I'm going to rectify this year. I'm going to start using it more. I actually had a print going in it, and the print failed because even with a full resin bay, it was too much resin. It wasn't enough. So, but I totally understand selling it too. Getting a smaller one so you can keep more controlled stuff. I kind of understand that, but it's one of those things. You've got the printer, you've got the capability. You need to find out how can you make the most use of that printer. So what you can do with that curvature and that gap, so one thing you can do is, of course, if you've got a 3D printing pen, that is one way to fill the gap. That's what I do a lot. Of course, there's always fillers like Bondo, the Vallejo resin that I use to fill in my seam lines. So you can go ahead and glue them together, and then you do the filler layers, especially if there's not a lot of detail, if it's just supposed to be smooth. That's one good way to get away with covering up those gaps. Because actually, I took that one away. That's what I'm probably going to do here is come back with a 3D printing pen, do a little bit of sanding, kind of try to get that gap filled in as seamless as possible. I brought it up, then I realized I don't have a power plug close enough for me to actually use this, which was kind of silly. I need to run a power strip so it's sitting right here and I can go to work. But there are some ways that you can get around it. The 3D printing pen is usually for a big gap like that. What I'll usually do is like this gap here. I mean, that's a huge gap. Basically, I'll fill it with its own material and move it over through really quickly. That way I can hopefully not have a groove once I'm done. So, because that's what's so great about these pens is when you get down to that end point of the spool and you can't print anymore, this thing is awesome for using up that filament. So it kind of makes your filament usage almost 100%, which is what I like about this guy, and why I highly recommend the pens. But that, or as I've said before, these are my other two. Helps if I turn it around. My other two go-tos for filling in gaps and smoothing stuff up is the Tamiya basic type putty and the Vallejo plastic putty. In this case, I would want something a little bit harder, so I would go with the Tamiya to fill in that gap. I've even seen people use wood filler because it's easily sandable, takes paint well, and it's a simple use putty. I'll put a link in the description down below because this is a new one. So actually, here, I should be able to put it in the chat here, the exact one I've got, because it is worth its weight in gold. Whoops. See if I can find mine here. I'll laugh if they don't have mine on here anymore. Huh. Well, that's not any good. Ah, here it is. Copy. All right, there's the link. to the pin that I just got, and some great reasons for this one, like I said, is I love the brass nozzle. It's not a ceramic. Yep. That's exactly what I'd use, is a 3D printing pin to fill in the gaps. So, one, not just because I'm wanting to fill in with material, but two, I'm bonding it at the same time I'm putting in the PLA, so it actually creates a better adhesion than glue does. So, and a lot of models that you guys see, I've actually filled the gaps with the 3D printing pin. So, you guys just don't really see that because I don't show it a lot of times. And when I sat down tonight and was like, oh, I'll just use my pen and fill this in, I didn't have a power plug close enough. So I'll have to fix that before the next stream. Like I said, there could be a stream on Friday. You guys might start seeing streams more often as I do this. As I sit down at work, I'm just gonna start kicking on a stream. So try to kind of let you guys see more of the finishing work and stuff as I go through these, which this one's going to be interesting. Yeah, so this one comes with the rods, and a lot of them come with filament springs, but it's got its own extruder in there. You just feed the end of the filament into the spool and just pull it through, just like you do even these rods. And this pin is capable of PLA, ABS, and the flexible material, so TPU. So yeah, these are really worth their money. Just make sure you keep your hand away from the hot points on the end. Yeah, that's one of the great things, Festus 28, you bring up. It's great when kids break things. Or, you know, adults like me who break things when he's... What do you think of the J-Series UI firmware on the Ender 3 V2? Can't really say I know much about it. I've never used it. I'm using the Marlin firmware on my Ender 3 V2, so I would have to look that one up and get back to you on that one. Feel free to email me with that question. It's out there. My email's out on the community page. So, and I can take a look at it and do some research for you. But I tend to stick more with the Creality firmware, just because really where I manipulate my printer is in the Cura settings. That's where I do all my fun work. So the Cura firmware has worked well for me. I do try to keep it up to date. Because especially when I got my Ender 3 V2, the firmware was broken. I had to upgrade my firmware immediately to get my printer to even work. So yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it. My Ender 3 V2 has been kind of on my problem child list lately, so maybe it'll make it better for me. So it's been I have not used Kipper. So I do a lot of stuff in Cura. Mesh Mixer is one of my go-to tools. I use a program called Nomad on my tablet to do drawing and 3D design for a lot of stuff. I can take a look at Kipper. I use Octoprint to control most of my printers, and Octofarm to control that. So that way I can kind of keep control of everything. So, and Octofarm is nice because I can tell it when I've added a new spool, and it'll tell me pretty much exactly what's left in the printer. So it kind of helps. Out. So, but yeah, my Ender 3 V2 has been kind of on my little naughty list. It failed to print last night that I was working on for my wife. Actually, here I'll show one of the prints that have been on the chopping block here lately is my wife asked for this. So, Winnie the Pooh's Honey Pot. So I'll actually switch over to prepare mode here. Really simple print. If you guys watch my Instagram, you'll see it bomb out pretty spectacularly here in the next week or so. I mean, this thing did everything wrong. It had layer shifting. It had all kinds of fun stuff in it. So a little disappointing seeing that going on. So, kind of one of those things. That's just a quick, simple little vase print that went horribly wrong. So, that's kind of the fun of it. I still got a little bit of work to do on my Cura on this machine. I'm missing a few machines. So, that's coming. So, hopefully we'll be able to start throwing files around and doing some slice sessions too on here to help you guys out. So, but like I said, the original plan was just kind of keep the stream short tonight because yeah, kind of under the weather, but I'm glad for everybody that turned out today. That's awesome. I know it's Tuesday, everybody's busy. We'll either have a video or we'll have another live stream on Friday. I haven't decided yet. The Nomad software is not free. It's $15 in the Apple iStore. So it does cost a little bit of money. But I have found it worth it especially with the Apple Pencil and on my iPad. Now I have an iPad Pro, so that may make a difference there too. But you can use it even on your iPhone. But it works really well, but it is a $15 expense, but it works really well. I hope I get to feeling better soon too. Like I said, been to the doctor. It's just a sinus infection. Hopefully the antibiotics will kick it out of my system here soon. Like I said, hopefully Friday I'll be right as rain giving you guys new content. So, because there's a lot of stuff I want to achieve this year. Some of the stuff is stuff I fell short last year. I want to get the membership platform going, so we can open that up to kind of hopefully some cool features, like maybe even just depending on the level, there's the option of getting like 30-minute appointment directly with me, different things like that we're kind of batting around the ideas to offer to the people that choose to subscribe and join the membership of the channel. But most of the stuff is going to stay the same out in the world. There's still going to be a Friday video. There's still going to be a Tuesday stream. I was very impressed with Saturday's stream, so a lot of questions flying around on that. If you guys haven't, go check out that video. That might become a standard thing, but right now, like I said, I'm going to try to stream whenever I'm working on these things up here. So we're kind of having a lot of fun as we go along and look at these 3D prints, and not just 3D prints, because you guys can tell I got a lot of these little Warhammer guys that just need some finishing paint. That, and as I showed earlier, I got some fun stuff to put together and work on up here too. So I'm probably going to pull model kits more into it. Yeah, I can almost guarantee mine is allergies and then just rapid weather changes is what got mine. I usually get one about this time of year. Spring, always get it because of allergies, but this time of year, I usually get one too. Some of it's just associated with travel, you know. So the Cura background is you go to, where was that? Well, I'm on a Mac right now. So actually, let me kick over there. I'm not on my Windows PC, but it'll be kind of a similar area. So for Mac, you'll go up to Ultimaker, you'll go to Preferences, it'll open this up, and then Theme. You have several themes that you can choose in the Preferences. Actually, let me, do I have this? Got another laptop over here. Let me just confirm how the Windows version looks. But yeah, and one of the things too, the settings, I usually do the check all. That's what gives me, and then coupled with the sidebar GUI plugin from the marketplace, that's what lets me have all of this stuff over here. But ever since I switched it to the dark theme, I have been a lot happier using it. So it definitely gives a better feel to the printer itself. And it lets you kind of see things as it should. Oh, this is in the old format, so I even get to change it on this one. You'll go to Preferences, Configure Cura, and then Theme, you'll change to Dark. Ultimaker Dark. And that'll get you changed over to that theme. So, but the dark background helps versus trying to see yellow on white. Never worked well for me. But like I said, if you're in there and you go to the settings on the left, you'll see that check all settings, and I just have everything checked so I can work on it. Yes. Oh, I mean, you haven't figured that out, that, you know, I've got Death Trooper armor downstairs that we did a video of this last Halloween. Super Star Destroyers floating around here. I mean, come on. Simplified 3D is a good one. I think I have that I use on some stuff. But Cura is kind of just my quick go-to. And especially for the channel, you know, I don't want to be out there, well, I'm doing this in a $150 piece of software. I want this to be something that everybody can do. So it is odd that you had issues like that. Yeah, the dark version's way easier on the eyes. That white smacking you in the face is rough enough. So definitely one of those things. I hope that kind of helps out, makes Cura a little bit user friendly. Simplify 3D. I've even pulled the Prusa slicer from time to time to do a few things. So if the tools are out there and you can get them, use them. But like how you asked about Nomad, if you're on a Windows PC or a MacBook, there is a program called Mesh Mixer that you can start doing creation in as well, and it's free. So now Cura, I'm running 4.10. I'm not up on the latest edition. I went to the latest edition, had problems, went back to 4.10, and didn't have problems. So nice. TIE Fighter is a good one. I did a few of those on my resin printer not too long ago for my brother-in-law. But if you guys are out there and you see a really good Star Destroyer model, definitely shoot me an email with a link. I'll take a look at it, because I really kind of want to try to tackle that Chimera from Thrawn's flagship. So kind of one of those things. It'll be a larger model with some really intricate. Mesh Mixer is an Autodesk product, but it is free. So and you can use Autodesk products too. Fusion 360, if you're using it for personal use, is free, but it doesn't have the full tool set that a paid license would have. But I do everything I need in Mesh Mixer, or even Blender comes in handy in this environment, and that one's usually pretty free too. So there are a lot of stuff out there that you can do stuff in, and start generating models at almost no cost. So as long as you're following the license. Yeah, give that a try, Wanafast, because like I said, when I went to 4.12, my prints were failing all over the place, and I reverted back to 4.10, and boom. Fusion 360's like I said, it's free for personal use, but if you're wanting to use it in a business, you need to buy the license. So, just kind of one of those things you want to make sure, especially in a business world, that you're doing it the right way. So, and yeah, come tax time, that can hurt too. So, but at that point, guys, I have kind of just run out of steam. I want to keep it going, but I can feel my sinuses starting to scream at me. So I hope everybody had fun tonight. I hope to see you guys later in the week. If not, hopefully maybe this weekend, and we'll actually get some work done on some prints, and by then I should have some printers open. We'll even start picking some models and slicing. So I hope you guys had a good one. We'll see you guys later on this week. Thank you all for showing up. I appreciate it. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join. All right. Thank you, guys.